Topic in Pennsylvania this year are people who shouldn't be allowed to vote getting registered anyway. The Auditor General just released the findings of his recent investigation. Seth Kaplan live in the ABC 27 newsroom with the details. Good afternoon, Seth.
Good afternoon to you, James. Yeah, back in 2023, Pennsylvania somewhat combined the process of getting a driver's license with the process of registering to vote. Of course, there's a difference between who can get a license and who can register to vote. Specifically, only U.S. citizens can vote. And this morning, PA Auditor General Tim DeFore released the results of an audit he and his team conducted to make sure only citizens are, in fact, registering to vote. Out of about 200,000 people who registered to vote at driver's license centers during a 6-month period he looked at, DeFore found one person who was not a citizen, but who was allowed to fill out a voter registration form. More on that person in a moment. DeFore also said too many people at PennDOT, about 700, have access to sensitive information in the system. Bottom line?
The motor voter process works, but the internal controls and security protocols, they have to improve.
So he's talking there, for one thing, about those 700 people. He says basically there are too many people with access to the system. Concerns about PennDOT tracking who those people are exactly who have access to the system. Now, I mentioned that one person who was not a citizen and who was given access to the voter registration form. So basically, an error on the front end at PennDOT gave that person that form. By all accounts and appearances, this person didn't know that they were doing something wrong here, but the voter registration form was sent off. PennDOT tells it that they realized right away what happened. They contacted the Department of State, which actually registers to people to vote, and told them that this person shouldn't vote. But PennDOT says this person never voted or anything like that. That one person was among 58 voter registration records that the AG took a close look at because they didn't look like the other 200,000 records. And essentially, in the end, 57 of them turned out there was nothing going on. There was that one person that they're aware of. Now, that doesn't mean that they looked in depth at all 200,000 records and can say definitively that there's nobody else who is not a citizen who might have gotten through the first part of the process. They know just about that one person. Also can't say definitively, James, that the opposite didn't necessarily happen, right? That there's not somebody who is a citizen who, for whatever reason, wasn't given the opportunity to register. They basically just know what they know, which is what they looked at, and this is the result of their audit.
Mm-hmm. And Seth, did the Auditor General talk at all about what sparked this investigation, what sparked this audit? Was there a particular incident that happened, or was this something that was routine that they just did?
Routine is basically, you've got this big change in Pennsylvania where all of a sudden it became easier for folks, as you said, to register to vote, and they want to make sure that only the correct people are registering. For all this, obviously, in the context, James, of questions, broader questions in society about how hard or easy it should be to register to vote. Generally speaking, if you look at partisan lines, Democrats have tended to favor facilitating the registration of new voters. Republicans have tended to express concerns about, if you make it too easy to vote, then or to register to vote, then perhaps people who shouldn't be able to vote are voting. DeFore, who happens to be a Republican here, is saying the system generally, no widespread concerns here, which doesn't mean that it shouldn't improve. And he actually made 8 recommendations. We'll get into this more coming up tonight at 5 about how things that PennDOT could do to improve the system.
All right. Seth Kaplan, live in the ABC 27 newsroom. Thank you so much for that.
Hi, I'm Eric Finkenbinder from ABC 27, and we're excited to announce the new ABC 27 News Plus app. Live stream newscasts or watch content on demand. This is different than the ABC 27 app on your smartphone. You can check this out at home, and it's very easy to use. With a Fire Stick, go to the homepage, scroll down to search. From there, enter ABC 27. Move over to the apps, and there we are. Click the icon and install. It's just that easy.